Hello and welcome to a very special episode of The Rest is Football with Micah Richards, me, Gary and Micah, and I'll save him to last. A certain ecstatic, euphoric, probably slightly hungover Alan Shearer, who's going to do a little bit like we did in the Euros with the England games when he co-commented. We couldn't get him on, obviously, after the game because he had other things to do. Give us a lowdown, Al. How do you feel first? How is it?
Where do I start? I'm definitely not hungover because I've been on it all day again. So I started off first thing this morning after a couple of hours sleep. Oh man, what a day! After being nervous and excited and all of those things beforehand, it was just fucking unbelievable, man. It was like I just haven't experienced it before. The feeling, the adulation, the fan. Oh man, Wembley. I mean, Wembley is just a place for winners, isn't it? I've been there as a fan as a loser, and I've been there as a player as a loser, and to go there for once and to be part of or to be supporting a team that has won is it was off the charts good, and the game was amazing. I mean, how good were Newcastle? Seriously.
We did. I'm sure you've listened to. I did. You can do it, but they were to a man right across the board. They were so dominant and so impressive, really, under that kind of pressure and expectation.
I did. I listened to you two this morning on the flight over. I'm in Amsterdam. I listened to you two, and you managed to send me off to sleep. So thanks very much for that.
We aim to please. What are you doing in Amsterdam, Al?
Believe it or not, I'm here to come and see. I'm watching Sam Fender tomorrow evening. So we got an invite of Sam to come over to Amsterdam. So
he's a Newcastle fan, right?
Huge Newcastle fan.
Mm-hmm.
I was with his agent yesterday, and we FaceTimed Sam just after the game because he was due to go. Well, he was in Berlin last night performing. And I said to his agent, I said, who the hell books his gigs, by the way? Who's booking Sam in Berlin on the night of a... He said it was done like months and months ago. So
well, he obviously knew that it's probably a safe bet that they wouldn't be in a final.
So we FaceTimed him after that. He was crying. I mean, the tears were real tears of joy and happiness and everything else because Sam's song, 17 Going Under, was blasting out of Wembley, and all the Newcastle fans were singing it, and the players were all dancing to it, and it was like, oh. So you can imagine from his point of view as well, you know, why he was so emotional. As were we all. It was I've never experienced anything like it. It was just absolutely brilliant.
I can relate to it to a degree. When Leicester won the FA Cup for the first time in their history. If you remember, we were on air.
We were.
And I at the end, and I suddenly got very teary myself because for some reason my dad came into my mind, who was alive. He went to all 4 FA Cup finals they'd lost, and I know you lost your father recently as well, Alan. Did that come into your mind as well, that he missed it?
Absolutely, yeah. I must admit, I had a tear or two at the end when the final whistle went because I thought of my old man, you know, and I mean he was lucky enough. He went to the '69 final when they won the Fairs Cup. So he sort of sampled it a little bit, but I just wish he had been there yesterday. But he'd have been looking down, you know, because even in his last few days, he was like on about Newcastle and how he wanted them to do well and win the trophy and what have you. But me and Will and my daughter Chloe and her boyfriend were all at the game yesterday. So we'll give him a little nod. So, but. Yeah, I mean, back to the players. Where do you start? If you go through every single player, I genuinely, honestly think every single Newcastle player brought their A game.
Totally agree.
And all over the pitch, they won every single battle against their opponent. I think that was such a big thing because you had to worry about left back, and he played Livramento, who. I mean, he never gives Salah a kick. He never give him a kick. Harvey Barnes on the left-hand side instead of Anthony Gordon. I mean, what a night for him. I had a pint with him afterwards in the party and saying how great he was, and it was just you can go. I mean, Joe Linton. Oh my God!
Wow!
Beast of a performance. He is horrible to play against, isn't he? You can imagine he was everywhere, and I think that was always going to be key, that midfield battle, because. It was always going to be who was going to come out on top on that and that 3. And I thought Newcastle dominated the midfield, and that set them up perfectly. And then where do we start with Big Dan Burnman?
I was just about to ask you that. He gets his England call up, and then how good was he, Alan?
I said to him last night, I was having a pint with him last night, and I said, you might as well fucking retire, man, because it's the week you've had, it's not getting any better. He actually said,
let him go in the England squad first. Get an England cap.
I said it's typical of you because Newcastle, the players are off. They've all gone off to Dubai, I think.
Oh my word! What could possibly go wrong?
Well, they're all going as a team, you know. And I said to Dan, it's typical. You get in the England squad, you can't go up. You can't have 5 or 6 days break in the sun now. And he said, you know what? He said, I don't give a damn. He said, I can't wait to get up with England. And when I said to him, you might as well retire, he went, I might just go on Friday at Wembley. I said, oh, well, yeah, absolutely. Can you imagine? I mean, it just, the lad from Blythe, from Newcastle, to come in and score that first goal. I mean, Newcastle, we haven't scored a goal at Wembley since 2000. I think Rob Lee was the last player to score it in the semi-final against Chelsea. And for him as a local boy to score that goal, to put Newcastle 1-0 up just before half-time, he's in dreamland, isn't he?
I saw Rob Lee, pitch side. And obviously I had that joke with Rob Lee.
Yeah, really?
And Sherwood, I saw him, I was tiptoeing round him.
When you were laughing at him in that team, my best team.
Do you remember, Gaz?
Yes.
Remember when you said the best team and he said Rob Lee and Tim Sherwood? And I burst out laughing on BBC Top 10.
Oh, you saw him, did you?
I saw him and I was like, I didn't want to go over and say, I was only having, obviously, he's a top player, but to Vieira and Yaya Toure, I was, and I saw him, I felt, oh my God.
Please tell me you dug yourself even deeper. Well, what I meant was you were all right. No, not all right, you were better than that. But
I hope you hadn't shook his hand, did you? Or did you just try and avoid him at all costs?
I just tried to avoid him.
And look, we just had a knee replacement as well. He wouldn't have been running away from you. Oh, man. Yeah, brilliant.
that is superb. Did Dan Burn was there a man of the match award?
Yeah,
It
he got
escaped me.
man of the match, yeah.
Oh, brilliant. What a header, though, Al. What a header. I mean, it was a long way out, and it was like...
It was a fantastic header. And it was fascinating listening to Eddie afterwards, because he'd said they'd been working on set pieces for the past 2 weeks, how they felt they could hurt Liverpool, and I mean, it worked perfectly. But yeah, what a header! But even if he hadn't scored that goal, the rest of his performance, like, so aggressive, and just he didn't give anyone a sniff. It was just like, it was just absolutely magnificent. Kieran Trippier. We can go through the whole team, how good they were.
Well, we've got time.
Yeah, I mean, even Nick Pope. I mean, that was a big call from Eddie, because he had a big decision to make whether he was going to play Nick Pope or Dubravka, who's done really, really well.
He made one absolutely sensational save, didn't he?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was just such a key time as well. He made that fantastic save. So starting with him and Fabian Schär we've been through the whole of the back four. We said about Livramento never give Salah a kick. The midfield three. I mean, Danny Murphy said on Matchday, didn't he, on Saturday night, that two best midfields in the Premier League, and he was absolutely right. I agreed with him, but I just thought Newcastle, Tonali, Guimarães, and Joe Linton bossed the midfield in every single way. They were aggressive, the energy that they had. Then we go to the front three. I mean, Harvey Barnes could have scored, assisted. Jacob Murphy with a header into Isak, the work they did, and how good's Isak, lads?
So good. So good.
Yeah.
It's an all-round game as a 9. I mean, he can do everything. He can score with the long range. He can score close in. He's good in the air. His hold-up play is brilliant. He can beat players as well. Amazing centre forward.
Can I convince you now, lads, he's world class or not?
Well, hold on. What did I say, Alan, when you said it? I did back you up. I said he's playing at the world-class level, but he just needs to be playing at a certain level for long enough to show everyone. But he's remarkable.
Micah, you were pitch side, Micah, because so you would have been right in the middle. Whereas obviously I was at the far end with all the Newcastle fans, and it sounded if to me it's like the Newcastle fans were off the charts in terms of the atmosphere. How was it? Was it like a fair balance? Because you were right in the middle. Were Liverpool fans the same?
It was the Liverpool fans are always incredible.
Yeah, they are.
You know, you go to Anfield, it's remarkable, the noise levels. And Newcastle were the exact same. So normally when you go to Wembley, you guys have done loads of broadcasts at Wembley or whatever. And normally there's one side that's louder, but there was equally as loud. It was mayhem. It was we was right on the halfway line. But when Newcastle scored, there was a goal. We were in England at the Euros.
Germany.
Yeah, Germany. Germany was the game. That's the loudest I've heard Wembley. I think that was loud, but that matched it, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was madness. It was crazy. It was just a great atmosphere. But when Newcastle scored their first goal, Dan Burn, oh my God.
I tell you what, Alan, I was watching all my lads were here for the game, and when Dan Burn headed that in, all five of us leapt up in the air shouting like that was our team. It was mad. And no disrespect to Liverpool and Liverpool Football Club, it's a wonderful football club, but they've won so much that I think most neutrals with a heart.
I think so. That's a feeling that I got, and I said the same. I mean, I put out a thing on Twitter after the game saying, Liverpool, brilliant. They're going to win the league and how great they've been this season. But Newcastle absolutely battered them yesterday. I think they just ran out. They didn't have the energy to match Newcastle, did they? There's no doubt that their extra time in midweek on the Tuesday evening took it out of them, and they looked physically and mentally knackered, and they didn't have any answer to Newcastle's pressing and energy and general play.
Can I ask you? You mentioned there, Gaz, about Leicester, that emotion. You said you thought of your dad in that moment, but you've won stuff as a player, and the same with you, Alan, as well. Obviously, winning a league with Blackburn. But what made it so special is just because it's your boyhood club.
It's really strange, isn't it? When people ask me the question, what's the best moment ever in sport? And I would say when Leicester won the league. And probably the second one would have been when Leicester won the FA Cup. And it's really weird. And I took no part in it whatsoever. You know, Alan won the league. I won the FA Cup. I won the Copa del Rey. I won the European Cup Winners' Cup. But didn't compare. It's like, it's a weird thing. It's that tribality that we kind of lean into and it's amazing, isn't it, Alan, what it does to you? We're fairly, well, I am, and you're getting that way. We're, well on the back nine of life. And that was another thing today. Did you see Rory McIlroy won the Players? Well done, Rory. Little shout. He won the playoff today. He won it. He was brilliant in the playoff. He won comfortably. So that's more good news, particularly on St. Patrick's Day. That's when we're recording it today. But though there's something about being a fan that, because it's almost out of your control as well.
That's exactly it. I was just about to say that same thing, is because even when I played at when we went to Wembley as players, I was never as nervous I don't think I was as excited as I was yesterday as a fan. I mean, everything about it was just like madness, and then to go into the party afterwards and share it with some of the players and the fans. I mean, the box part where we went afterwards, like fucking chaos it was.
Yeah,
it was
I want to hear more about what happened post the match, but let's take a little break now, and I don't think you'll tire of talking about that day. Welcome back to The Rest is Football with Micah Richards, a jubilant Alan Shearer, and me, Gary Lineker. Alan, we were just kind of sneaking into the post-match side of things, and you did join the players at their celebration. Who did you speak to?
Yes, spoke to quite a few of them. Harvey Barnes, as I said, Big Dan, Joe Linton. I mean, all I could do was just like, come here, give me a fucking hug, will you? You've just made my life. You have made my life. Do you realise what? That's what all I kept saying to them. Do you realise what you've achieved, guys? I hope in the next, I don't know, days or weeks, you understand the size of what you've just done. You know, it's like.
Did you also say when you lose in a couple of weeks' time, I'll be slagging you off again?
I said to them, "You do what the fuck you want, guys. I'm never ever going to criticise you ever again."
You will.
It's not good enough. There's no work rate, no intensity, no passion.
Did you hear hear the post-match interview of Bruno Guimarães? He gave you a good mention. Talked about you sending text. Tell us about that.
No, I just sent him a text before the game, as I did a few of the players, and to Eddie, and just said, "Look, all the best, skipper." I said, and I can just imagine the scenes if you were to win the trophy. I know they've had a great occasion at Wembley, but whenever they do the parade at Newcastle, it's going to be epic. It's going to be something that they've probably never seen before, you know. And it's just because, and people will say, "Oh, you've won the Carabao Cup." Yeah, we have. We've won the Carabao Cup, but we haven't won anything for 70 years, or domestically for 70 years, and that's why it means so much. And the parade at Newcastle, whenever it is, will be something just incredible. And the players will just look around and think, "What on earth is going on?" Because I told you guys, didn't I? When we lost in '98 in the FA Cup final, we had a parade. And stupidly, they didn't take us out of it. There were hundreds of thousands of fans lining the streets, on top of the fucking lampposts and the traffic lights and all of that. And now, can you imagine? And we lost. So you can imagine what it's going to be like on a Saturday or whenever they do it. It'll just be incredible. It really will. And they deserve it, the players. And what a job he's done, Eddie Howe, man.
Incredible. Yeah. First English coach to win a domestic title since Harry Redknapp in 2008.
And also don't forget that for the last 3 transfer windows, I think they haven't signed any first team player. So he's had to work with what he's got and go up against all the big clubs. When you consider the beat to get to the cup final, they beat Forest, they beat Chelsea, they beat Arsenal, and now they went to beaten Liverpool in the final. So they've beaten the top 4, I think it is, haven't they, right the way through the tournament. So an unbelievable achievement, and all the players were loving the celebrations in the bar last night, and the Newcastle fans, they were just adoring them, and they're going to get that wherever they go in Newcastle for the rest of their life, because they'll just can do and say and whatever they choose in Newcastle, because they've made so many. I mean, I did a thing for Football Focus about an old guy who's 97 who said if Newcastle were to win, he can go away happily, and he'll happily go and say it was like. And I was just thinking, oh my God, and that's what it means, you know. It's been that long. Incredible.
Right. It's incredible. Where was the function post-match?
It was just down the road from Wembley in Box Park.
So the players all went to the Box Park thing?
Yeah, all the players.
Amidst the fans and all that?
All the staff, they hired upstairs, and they took upstairs over, and all was downstairs. And then when it was brilliant, because when Dan Burn came in, they put this song on, "You'll Never Ever Be Dan Burn, he's from Blythe." And then he sort of stood on the balcony at the top, and he was like, it was
wow.
Did he do his dance?
He did his it was brilliant, man. Yeah. It's fantastic. It was.
It's not a little dance with Dan Burn, is it? It's a big dance.
So I haven't got a clue what time I got in. Me, my son, my daughter, and a boyfriend, and then I was up very early and back on it again on a flight to Amsterdam, and had a few more pints of Guinness when I arrived in Amsterdam.
Did you manage to chat with Eddie?
I haven't had a chat with Eddie. No, I just sent him a text message. I just said thank you with a black and white love heart. That's all I said. And it was like, what more can I say to him?
That is just amazing. You were talking about Eddie. How good can Eddie Howe be? You know, giving time, giving players, because we're looking at a top manager now, aren't we?
Definitely.
we said it at the time, absolutely delighted that England didn't even come knocking on his door. England weren't even interested in talking to him.
So weird.
Which, weird, but absolutely brilliant for Newcastle. Because when you consider we've had the brilliant Sir Bobby Robson at Newcastle, we had Kevin Keegan, and these guys are adored at Newcastle, and rightly so. But Eddie's done something those guys couldn't do, These guys couldn't win a trophy, and I was part of that. So, but Eddie has now won a trophy at Newcastle, and he's put himself above those guys. It's just done a great job, yeah.
And it's helped for English managers as well, hasn't he? To give him that hope, saying if they, give us a chance, we can do it. You see what Lampard's doing now at Coventry. He's doing a really good job. It was just a whole feel-good factor for everyone. And I think even Liverpool fans would, of course, would want to win on the day. But, even they've been saying congratulations to Newcastle.
And he's actually improved so many players, Micah, at Newcastle. When you consider all those players going up against the Liverpool players. And there was without doubt a genuine belief that Newcastle could overturn Liverpool, and they did it. And that's thanks to him, the belief that he's given every player, the confidence he's given every single fan. And one thing's for sure, he'll never have to ever have to buy a pint in Newcastle in his life ever again.
No chance. Alan, I definitely want to ask this before we call it a day. How were you those few minutes after that VAR intervention and the goal right at the end? Although there wasn't really a nervous moment in terms of they didn't really threaten, because I thought Newcastle, again, managed the game really well at that point. But as a fan, what were you going through?
Was it tight? Because I said it has to be for the amount of time that it's taken. And again, I mean, we were like, for fuck's sake, hurry up and give us a decision.
First replay out. You could
Really?
see first replay.
Why
We
did
all
it take
went,
so
it's a
long
goal.
then? Why did it take so long? Were they just faffing around again?
Well, they do, don't they? They draw the lines. It was, I suppose they don't want to get it wrong, and I understand that. But he was probably 6 inches off.
Right, okay.
It wasn't one of those toenail jobs. It was,
yeah.
you could see he was definitely onside.
I know, and that goal when I was thinking, oh God, and then they put about, I don't know, 6 or 7 minutes, we're playing into 100 minutes.
Virgil van Dijk went up front.
I was screaming at the referee, blow your fucking whistle. I was like, honestly, I was going absolutely berserk. But yeah, it was, even, you're right, I mean, even in those last few minutes, the way they played the game, Newcastle, and handled that situation, although it was nerve-wracking, I always felt that they had it in the bag. From the very first minute, I was quite comfortable in how they were playing and what they were doing.
Yeah. How old are you again, Alan? 54.
54. Yeah.
Well, and it's the first time.
First
time in your life. It's nuts.
And that's what I've been saying. I have to, in my lifetime, I had to see Newcastle win at least one trophy, and that's happened now.
What we need next is England.
Yeah, imagine that as well. Yeah, imagine that as well. Yeah, but you know what it is though? Does it? It goes in. I'm hoping now that because it goes in cycles, doesn't it? We've seen Man City, what they've achieved, where they come from and how they won their first trophy and then went on. We saw Chelsea, they won their first trophy, how they sort of went on. And I just hope that that it's now going to be Newcastle's turn to go and win a few.
It's probably a little bit more difficult now with the PSR rules for a club like Newcastle.
I agree, yeah.
But anyway, well done. Well done. Congratulations. I think we were all genuinely chuffed for you. It was fabulous.
And I even believe you sound so sincere, and I know you mean
sincere.
it. So I appreciate it, lads. Honestly, it was just off the charts good. And what a day and what a night.
Okay, we'll call that a day. We'll be back with our question answer episode tomorrow. But for now, goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me. I know I'm going to have a great week, but everyone else have a great week as well.
Brilliant.